Welcome to this November energy update, and welcome back to my channel. If this is not your first time here, my name is Melanie Santos. I am a multidisciplinary sacred artist, and I usually film these videos as monthly energy scopes, like monthly energy readings at the beginning of the month. However, I have been really sick this month, really under the weather, and grieving for obvious reasons. And so I'm going to film this video as sort of like an energy update based on what we've already experienced in November and what we have to look forward to for the rest of the month, because this is a huge month for energetic transitions, for deaths, for rebirths, and for transformations. So grab a notebook, get ready. I'm going to light some incense as I usually do. And I want to start off by talking about the energy. Actually, let's start off by talking about what's already happened. Let's state the facts, right? What's already happened in the month of November. There's really only one thing that we can talk about in terms of things that have happened in November already, which is Donald Trump being reelected president, the Republicans gaining full control of Congress. There have been wild brush fires on the coasts of the United States. Like, November has been pretty much a shit show for us collectively. And I'm sure that, whatever's happening collectively is also being mirrored in our individual lives. And so if you're having a really rough time this month, I see you, I feel you, and I hear you. Let's jump into what the cosmos are doing, because I think it's playing a really big part in the resources that we have to stand strong, to stay grounded. I'm going to say this before I continue. I'm going to be very careful of my use of words in this video. I think that creators like myself and artists and people with opinions either are already or will be highly monitored, just so that the powers that be know who's on their side and who's not. As you all know, I'm very explicit about what side I am on. I am on the side of the people. And so with that said, I want to be very careful of the words that I use so that I don't get my account taken down and so that I don't put myself in any type of danger. And so listen intently to this video, okay, so that you know exactly what I'm saying. Let's go through the energy. I am still under the weather. I don't know if you can hear it in this video. And so I took some notes on the things that I do want to say and things that I don't want to forget, because it's not a lot, but it's a lot. And so it's a lot in that it's very, very important. As you are watching this right now, if you're watching this on the day that it was put out, thank you. You're awesome. On November 15th, we are experiencing a full moon in Taurus. This is a big deal for a couple of reasons. It is the last supermoon of the year. So it's going to be, I think, about 14 or 15%. It's going to appear 14 or 15% bigger in the sky. It's a really powerful one. It is a really powerful one in that the full moon in Taurus is sitting at the axis of Taurus and Scorpio, right? Because we're in Scorpio season. And so the sun and the moon's energy are intersecting on the axis of stability and transformation. We've been in Scorpio season all of November thus far, and Scorpio is represented by the phoenix, by the scorpion, is represented, or it represents transformation, death, and rebirth, that like passionate discovery of truth. It represents going into the darkness to bring up the light of truth, or to really dig yourself through and bring up the light of truth. And then we have this full moon in Taurus. Taurus represented by the headstrong bull, which represents our stability and our reliability and our groundedness. Taurus is ruled by Venus, so it's also bringing up themes of money and love and connection and luxury and pleasure. And so when we look at all these things, these are the themes that are being highlighted for us collectively, also for us individually. You should also, if you want to get really, really, really detailed guidance, look at the astrological house where Taurus and Scorpio sits in your birth chart. I hate when people are like, oh, I don't have Taurus and Scorpio. We all have all of the signs. Our birth chart looks like kind of like a pie chart, and each sliver is connected to a number, and each sliver is also connected to a sign. And so when you look at your birth chart, look at the sliver, the piece of the pie that is connected to Taurus, and what number is connected to that. That number is the astrological house that energy pertains to for you. And so, like for me, being a Cancer rising, Taurus rules my 11th house of connections and people and friends. And so that's the energy that I'm going to look forward to in terms of like releasing for this full moon. And so this is a really important one because it's also happening in conjunction with Uranus. When I say conjunction, it's just happening like close to, right? Uranus is a toughie. Uranus is the planet of not just change, but just unexpected change. And so before I came and started recording this video, I always sit in meditation with my spirit guides and ask, is there anything that I should not forget to say in this video? Like what advice do you have for me on what is the energy of the rest of this month? And my guides very clearly said to me, before I looked through like what's happening this month, like cosmically, they said that this month is about focus and adaptability. Okay, so focus and adaptability should be your two words of intention this month, moving into the beginning of December. And in the sense of letting go of, because we know full moons are ripe for releasing, letting go of our human perceptions of stability, or the ways that we have felt stable, letting go of our connections to what has made us feel like us, or made us even feel like us individually, and also made us feel like us as a community. My Alexa got like activated somehow. Letting go of that and focusing on adaptability, not just adapting to the things that we don't want, but seeing the mirrors and the opportunities in the things that we don't want. Like for many of us, it's the government right now. For many of us, I'd say for the majority of us, this is not what we want. This was not the result that we wanted. However, I think it is positioned. I don't think it's over. I will tell you that. I don't think it's over. And if you follow my newsletter, you would know my whole spiel on that, because I shared my insights on via newsletter last week. But I don't think it's over. And also, if it is over, let's say this is it, and this is what it's going to be for the next 4 months. Hopefully not. But if this is it, this is what things are going to be like. It is offering us the opportunity to really, really, really lock in and really restructure and become adaptable, not to the changes that are going to be made for us, but adapt our frameworks and perspectives on how we will begin to transform community, on how we will really, really, really dedicate ourselves to transforming these power structures, to transforming the ways that we hold people, the ways that we uphold power structures. This is really, really important. I think this is going to be the most important thing that I talk about when we're talking about energy, okay? Because that I just said, everything that I just said is really mega 1,000,000% being highlighted and blasted through by Pluto shifting into Aquarius. If you follow astrologers and energy people and spiritual teachers and guides, you've already heard about this. This is one of the most major things that could be happening for us in this time right now. Okay? I'm going to break it down for you so that you understand the magnitude, the absolute sheer magnitude of this energetic moment right now for us. Pluto is the planet of death, rebirth, and transformation. It has been in the sign of Capricorn for 16 years. 16, right? Since January of 2008, I was going to say 20 something. January 2008, Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn. I'm going to pull up my notes for this because I wrote passionate notes and I don't want to forget what I wrote. But it's been transforming our lives in the area that Capricorn rules in our birth chart. And so just like I told you earlier, look at your little sliver on your birth chart and look at the area that Capricorn rules for you. If you are a Capricorn rising, that's your first house of identity. Collectively though, that Pluto in Capricorn for the past 16 years has encouraged a reevaluation of power dynamics in systems like government, business, and traditional institutions. It has revealed the truth. Duh, look at all that like the way that we've changed and the way that we've become so focused on, like, wait a minute, this ain't the land of the free. And a lot of this is going to relate specifically to my followers and community in the United States, because that's where I'm at. But this is really important for us because the United States is also going through its Pluto return, which is we are coming back to the United States is in a period where Pluto is in the exact spot it was when it became the United States. This is a big deal. This is a huge deal. Okay, so for the last 16 years, we've gotten the chance to reevaluate power structures and the ways that we define the Constitution, the ways that we define freedom, the ways that we define like who we are as a people. It's brought up the truth. Okay, it's had us realize just how much the capitalist patriarchy has its foot on our necks. I can't believe I started this video talking about I was going to be careful about what I said, and here I am talking about how the capitalist patriarchy has its foot on our neck. Oh well, right now, okay, on November 19th, Pluto is shifting out of Capricorn, where it's been for 16 years, doing all the craziness, transforming, death and rebirth, all the things, moving into Aquarius, where it's going to affect all the things that have to do with Aquarius, which are lovely things and just what we need right now. So let's talk about them. This is going to begin a powerful 20-year era. 20-year era marked by deep transformation and innovation in science, technology, and societal frameworks. Okay? This shift signals a collective push towards evolution, challenging us to redefine freedom, community, and the future of human connection. I know that, as of November 5th, everybody has been like, oh, we really have to focus on community. And I totally wholeheartedly agree. I think that through the pandemic, especially, we have gotten a sense of the importance of community. I think we've gotten to redefine what community means to us, how we engage in community, how we welcome community. And this is where the time where we really have to put those skills that we've acquired into practice. But I think now, as Pluto is shifting into Aquarius, all of that is about to change. All of that is about to change. It's really going to get kicked up. With Aquarius's influence, we're likely going to witness breakthroughs that drive progress, urging humanity to think beyond individual needs towards global advancement and interconnectedness. Personally, for me, I think if this election stays the way that it is, it's going to be not just like America, oh my God, da 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 da. It's going to be the whole world banding together with us to help that situation. I can't say that in other words. I think it's going to really help us become a collective world. I think we are on the cusp of a major, major, major revolutionary time. Now that I said the word revolutionary, just to put this moment into context for you, the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, as it's going to be in a few days, as I'm recording this, the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, we experienced the French and American revolutions. Like, that is what we have to look forward to. Okay, so when I talk about focus and adaptability being our words of this month and our words of that should be our words of intention, I really, really mean it. How can you be adaptable individually to the ways that your life is calling you to stand up and shift, to stand up and surrender? And also, how can you adapt to the ways that the world is asking for you to show up for it as well? I also want to emphasize before I start pulling cards, because I have 5 decks to pull from and I don't want this reading to be a million hours long. I also want to emphasize the importance of well-being, right? And taking care of your well-being. Just because, and I said this so much in the last 5-6 years, especially as we have been experiencing so many things as a collective, so many life-changing moments, so much history. I have always emphasized that yes, just because we are trying to be there for community and try to focus on collective evolution and trying to focus on collective well-being doesn't mean that our well-being needs to take a back seat. We will not be able to serve the world if we do not serve ourselves first. Okay? And so really set your boundaries when it comes to the things that you need to do for yourself. Not so much to keep things out, but to keep your shit in. Keep your shit intact. Do the things that you have to do for your mental health, for your physical health, and for your spirituality. It is the only way that you're going to remain grounded if you take care of yourself. It is the only way that we can do what we can to try to remain unshakable, which is going to be really hard. I think many of us are shaken up right now, including myself. And so our routines should really, really, really take priority. Our internal needs should really, really, really take priority. When we are taken care of, we inevitably we take part in creating a better world, honestly. And I don't mean that in the wellness capitalist way. I mean that I mean that. I really do mean that. When we are well, our wellness and our well-being ripples out into the world. I hope you hear those sirens. If you're new here, sirens, I live in New York City, but sirens, when they pop up and I'm saying something, it usually means emphasis. So I hope you really pay attention to that, because that also came through in my meditation this morning. Let's kick it off with our first of 5 decks. I'm going to start with the Goddess Guidance Energy, Goddess Guidance Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. All the cards that I used are going to be linked in the description box for you to purchase for your own practice. And I do think that having a spiritual practice that we can turn to weekly, monthly, to offer us guidance and to offer us hope and faith is really, really important right now. So if you've been thinking about oracle cards, I have a bunch linked in the description box below. Okay. First card came through as the goddess Damara, guiding children. You are good at helping, counseling, and guiding and helping children. Use your skills to help children now. This is very interesting. I don't think this has to do with children specifically. I think it has to do with our inner child. I think it has to do with our inner child. I think it also has to do with how we perceive people who exist in dogma and exist in a certain very specific perspective, and how we can react to them without necessarily immediately retaliating. Yeah. So let's talk about that first. I think that it hasn't been happening yet, but we will get to a point either this month, I have a feeling it's going to start this month, or the rest of the year, where there's going to be there already is a clear division of people. It's really hard to talk this way. I'm trying to say words that will not get me or this channel in trouble, but it's really hard. There are possibly going to be people that you encounter this month. I know that there are already conversations happening between friends, between families, where there is a clear division between people based on political views, where people have cut off, blocked, unfollowed people, either known or unknown, like celebrities, influencers, whatever, based on their political decision and based who they chose to elect in office. I stand by everybody who has made the decision to separate themselves from anybody who made a decision that is not, or that was not, or did not have the collective in mind, who made a decision based on individual needs. I think that this is bigger than just the election. I think this is bigger than, your political views. This is about your moral standing. This is about moral standing. And I do not think that we have to be comfortable being in close quarters or in close community with anybody who does not, or who has completely different moral standing than us. I do think everything is an opportunity. I do think everything is a mirror. But if you felt the need to create a very clear boundary between yourself and somebody who obviously did not have the best interests in mind of the American people. You did what you had to do, and that is okay. And I see you and I feel you. I think that's going to continue to happen even with strangers, where there's going to be conversations and fights and arguments between people in the world, where we are going to be really enticed to clap back. I don't think it's the smartest thing to do. I think we really have to show restraint. I think we really have to let our intellect and maturity help us stay grounded, because people like that are not mature enough to hold nuance. And I know that some of those people are watching this video right now. I can feel it. I know that some people just watch shit because they love to hate people, and I pray for people like you. You're really weird. But if this is you and you feel triggered, then so be it. But if this is you, if you're one of these people who, I don't even want to address those people. Let's talk about those people and the way that I like to think about people who like to just erupt or like have a very dogmatic way of living life. I think that those people have a very childish nature and and exist in a very childlike mind. I think those people can sometimes be a follower and cannot hold nuance, like I said, and find it very difficult to create their own opinions because they're so conditioned by the opinions of others. I want you to practice something. I just shared this with a client yesterday during alignment sessions, because I'm holding alignment sessions again. Just shared this with a client yesterday. I was having a conversation with them about difficult family members and how they like to fight and react. And I said, look at those people like children. It makes it way easier to stay grounded in your truth, because you're not going to yell and go crazy on a child. So think about those people as children. Those are wounded little children, and they are allowing their inner child to operate literally in their lives. I've said this a bunch, but if this is the first time that you're hearing this, I am a very big believer that we all have an inner child, obviously. But I'm also a very big believer in that depending on what it is that we're going through in our lives, in our adult lives, our inner children are a specific age and come from a specific part in our life. Okay? I do think that we have many parts, but I think that there is usually one really loud inner child. And so in my alignment sessions, I usually check on, let's see how your inner child is doing, what age they are, what they're going through, and what their needs are. Okay. Let's also check that they're not the ones that are operating for us in our life. Let's make sure that our inner children are not the ones that are operating our ego and operating through our ego, because that is very common. Very, very common, where you meet somebody and you're like, that person is a child, and it's probably, because they're letting their inner child operate their lives for them. They're not fulfilling their needs. They haven't healed the wounds that they exist there because of. And so they're the ones that are kind of like wearing the adult like a suit and are living life usually scared. Okay, people who live in a very dogmatic, very clear perception and usually are just waving their finger at people, and they're just very scared. And so I challenge you to, I'm never going to tell you to don't operate through fear, because it's very hard. We're human beings, right? But like, be very conscious of the fear and be very conscious of other people's fear and how that fear is projected onto you, and think about those people, see those people as wounded little children, okay? And also take care of, again, the card is guiding children. Take care of your own inner child. Take care of your own inner child for the rest of this month into the beginning of December. What does your inner child need? If you are feeling scared or grieving, what does your inner child need to feel better? I did this exercise with my inner child, who's very clearly 12 years old right now. Which makes so much sense because I was going through a ferocious puberty back then and things were really awkward for me. And I think I'm at a period of my life right now where things are very much in transition. So it feels like an adult puberty. And I asked her, I'm like, what do you need? And she's like, I want to have fun so bad. Like, I just want to go out and have fun with my friends. I'm like, okay, bet, I could do that. And so for me as an adult, what does that mean for me? And also, what does that mean for her? And how can I sort of merge them together? So yeah, I challenge you to do that. And there are various ways that you can do that. Check on your inner child. I like to do mirror work, literally stare at myself in the mirror and talk to my inner child and listen to see what comes up naturally. You can write them a letter and then sit in meditation and see what comes up for you. Whatever you want to do is fine. But make sure that you are taking care of our inner children, both ours and the inner children of others. Okay, one of the best ways that we can fight a raging inner child is just by not responding or offering them care. And sometimes we can offer care by just like being like, okay, all right, gentle parenting. Okay, we are gentle parenting in November because shit is really hitting the fan. Sirens! Let's jump into our next deck. Next card is coming from the Work Your Light Oracle deck by Rebecca Campbell. Let's see what our second message is for the rest of November 2024, beginning of December 2024. Okay, we had a card jump out of the deck, and it is the crumbling. Oh, of course, the crumbling. The crumbling. What are you clinging on to? Which definitely reiterates the messages that I shared earlier in this video about where we are as a society, right? What are we clinging on to? What ideals of what we thought, the way that we thought things were going to end up like? What are we clinging on to and how can we release that? Because this is where we are. And so what are we going to do now, right? What are we going to do with the world that we've been given back? What are we going to do now collectively? And also individually, this is very important as we face this full moon in Taurus. As we also go into Sagittarius season, which I didn't talk about. Sagittarius season, which kicks off on November 21st. Sagittarius is the half man, half archer who is constantly galloping away towards freedom. Sagittarius season is all about freedom, all about that discovery of truth. And not in the way that Scorpio is, but in the way Sagittarius is. It's about literature. It's about politics. It's about technology. It's about higher learning. Sagittarius, man, this is very important. Sagittarius, if we really channel the energy of Sagittarius, channel the energy of Scorpio as we're about to shift out of Scorpio season, like what can we take from what we've learned during Scorpio season so far? We've all been drawn into the dark waters of our soul to really take a look at what's uncomfortable. What do you need to let go of? And then we have this beautiful full moon in Taurus that's going to help us release what we've pulled up from Scorpio season. And then what are we going to run into during Sagittarius season? What a beautiful cosmic story. I can just see it in my head. But what are we going to gallop into? How are we going to gallop into the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025? Think about yourself as a Sagittarian archer. How will you gallop through these walls to greener pastures? And why? What's your motive? What's your vision of the future? What kind of vision of freedom are you holding now as you release what no longer serves you? As you release your own dogmatic mental structures about maybe how things were going to end up, both collectively and also in your life. This is a huge time I think for all of us. It's definitely happening for me, where we're having to reevaluate. Oh, totally forgot to mention this too. This is coming to mind, which is being reflected in what I'm talking about. Because as the full moon perfects in Taurus, Saturn goes direct in Pisces. I know this sounds like another language to many of you, but I try my best to explain to you what these major planets are doing and why it's important for us. But Saturn is the planet of structure and responsibility. And so it's been retrograde. And now that it's going to be stationing direct in Pisces, we really have the opportunity to comb through all the things that have been brought up for us and really think about how we can responsibly and in a structured way restructure the ways that we think about the future. What does freedom really mean for us now that freedom isn't possibly going to happen the way that we thought it would? Okay, what do our structures, like what can we do with these structures now that things don't look the way that we thought they would, both collectively and individually? And how is that happening for you and in your life right now? How is your life different than what you thought it was going to be a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago? Okay, think about the last full moon in Taurus. Think about the new moon in Taurus. Just six months ago. How is your life different now than what you were intending it to be with that new moon in Taurus 6 months ago? What did you want your life to be back in May? And how is it different now? What did you think was going to be happening now? And what can you do with it? You got to work with what you got, right? That's part of the crumbling. Things have to crumble in order for the abundance to come together. Things have to crumble. I think people have this perception of abundance where we think that, you can just keep amassing abundance. Like, no, things need to go. I have this conversation with my husband all the time. Because I'm like, you're such a hoarder, dude. You can't we love shoes. And so we have like a massive closet of shoes, which I will show you guys one day. And I'm like, listen, I'm all for buying new pairs of shoes, but you got to get rid of one when you buy another. You got to get rid of one when you get another. You can't just keep collecting. We don't got the space for that. We don't have the structure for that. And so in order for the structure to remain in equilibrium, we have to get rid of something when we bring something else in. That's more aligned with our truth right now. Okay, very, very clear guidance coming through. Let's go through the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor next. This is one of my favorite decks, and usually one of the only decks that I read from the description, from the booklet, because it has descriptions for if the card ends up upright or upside down. And so I just find that really interesting, and I really, really enjoy the booklet that comes from it. So let's see, what's the third message, third guidance that Source Spirit Guides are offering us for November 2024. Okay, we had another card. Everything's falling. Jump out of the deck. And it is the Garden and the Gate. So we have more gate symbolism here. More gate symbolism here. We just got the crumbling. And we have the Garden and the Gate. Let's read from the Garden and the Gate. Let's read from the Garden and the Gate from the booklet and see what it has to say. I feel like we need to read it. So this is about abundant prosperity and staying safe. Literally, we were just talking about abundance, and we were talking about stability and structure and equilibrium and all that. So let's see what this card has to say. This card shows a peaceful young woman in a beautifully blossoming garden with colorful flowers all around. However, the gates of the road outside the garden is locked, while the girl wears a key on a chain around her neck. This card upright bodes well for the financial scene. In fact, there may be a lot of money or other personal pleasures coming your way at this time. But beware. The choice to stay in the seeming security of this lovely garden may actually be motivated by habit or a fear of the unknown. The beauty is enticing and worth enjoying, but you may not be giving your spirit the freedom to roam. While it's fine to amass a great deal of wealth, don't let it keep you from your karmic path or from living your truth. You have the choice to shift your focus, widen your spiritual perspective, and gain the world that is just outside your gate. So literally what I was just talking about, like we have to be willing to release in order to be in harmony with our true abundance. We wear the key on our neck. And really, we wear the key in our heart. We wear the key in our intuition. We wear the key in our solar plexus. that has to do with will and self-confidence and self-worth, we have the key. We have the tools. There is nothing that we're going to have to, or that we can learn or amass to help us where we're going. We already have it. We just need to do it. We already have it. We just need to do it. And I think a big part of that, echoing this card, is dealing with the fears that comes from our inner children. Like, our inner children are possibly fucking terrified. Ooh, it's coming through that this has to do with talents and creativity as well. Yeah. Which is, yes. Yeah. I think a lot of people have been thinking about things that they've wanted to do creatively, things that they've wanted to birth in the world, and they think that they have to put it on pause now because of everything that's going on in the world. And like, no, it's not the right time. Yesterday wasn't the right time, and tomorrow's probably not going to be the right time either. So let me just keep holding on. No, the world needs your stuff. The world needs your vision. Whatever it is, adapt it to what the world needs. Whatever it is, adapt it. This is where adaptability comes in, and focus. Refocus yourself. Refocus what you are bringing into the world and adapt it to what the world needs. Adapt it to what you need. How does it really want to come into the world? Adapt it. Adapt it. Just because the world is going through a crumbling does not mean that you can adapt it. It still needs to come through. It still needs to be birthed. Okay? That's like being pregnant and being like, now it's not the right time. Let me just stuff this baby right in. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Adapt it. Bring whatever it is that's itching and aching to come forward in the world, to be birthed in the world by you. Projects, companies, art of all kinds. I'm not just talking about art like that you make with your hands. Speaking is an art. Gathering is an art. Cooking is an art. Like, everything is a form of art through the hands of an artist. We are all artists. We are all artists of life. And so bring it forward. What does it really want to be right now? Maybe it wanted to be something different last year. Maybe it wanted to be something different 2 years ago. What does it want to be now? The core of it hasn't changed. So what does it want to be now? Okay, you hold the key to go through these gates. You just have to pacify the inner child. And not just pacify the inner child, but give them a role. In talking to my inner child, she was very afraid about the transitions that I'm going through right now and the ways that I'm reemerging as an artist. And I had to tell her, like, hey, you don't have to be there for these hard conversations I'm having with folks who are helping me reemerge, but you can be there when I'm in the creative process. And so I'll let you know when it's your turn to come out. She's like, okay, and I've been feeling so much better about pushing forward on these things that I'm birthing into the world that I'm so excited for you to see soon. Because I got my shit in check, okay? And I recognize that I hold the key on my neck. And also allowing my crumbling to happen. Amidst the crumbling of the world, it's all synergistic. It's all happening together on purpose. This is on purpose. Very curious to see what the 4th and 5th cards are going to come through like. I was called to pull this deck today. This is the Archangel Michael, Sword of Light. If you don't know about Archangel Michael, he's one of the archangels. Archangel Michael always has a sword with him. And Archangel Michael is connected to the root chakra, which I think is very important right now, being that the entire world feels ungrounded. And the root chakra has to do with grounding, our stability, our foundations. And so let's see what message Archangel Michael has for us right now. Okay, card number 33, very special number. Very highly energetic number. This is a blessing in disguise, is the card. Be patient and have faith that your angels have the situation under control. What will come is far better than you dare to dream. So another card affirming that we need to let go of our human perceptions of stability. We have to let go of our human perceptions of freedom and abundance. because what's coming is better. And yes, while it may be birthed through chaos, birth is usually chaotic anyway. And I think this also speaks to us collectively, like I mentioned earlier. If this is it, if these are the cards that we've been dealt and we're going to have to deal with this for the next 4 years, this is changing. This is going to inevitably change our reality. And there are various ways that can happen. We can either charge forward, again, being very careful of my words, we can charge forward and really let our presence and our opinions be known as a people, or we can allow it to frustrate us so much to the point of to this breaking point where we truly break through to an entirely new reality, an entirely new human experience for everybody. Okay, but this is a blessing in disguise. What is coming is so much better than what we thought. What is coming is so much better than we thought possible. What is coming is so much better than we thought possible. Let these messages really drive your intentions for this full moon. Really, really hold, embody the energy of these words and these intentions during your full moon rituals. And I hope that everybody who is watching this will do a full moon ritual. And even if you're watching this after the full moon, any type of ritual, even if it's a full moon ritual, not doing it with the intention of a full moon, obviously, if you're past the full moon, but like any type of ritual that you can do that has to do with releasing is powerful. As you know, I have a video all about a free masterclass, all about the full moon, the new moon, all cosmic movements and their rituals. That is on my channel for you to watch, that I'm going to link in the description box below and up here if you're watching on a computer. But I think that it's really important for all of us to be centering and focusing and adapting our energies into ritual form. Whatever that means for you is fine. If it's prayer for you, please pray. If it's actual like ritual with fire, which I love to work with fire during the full moon, then please do that. But we need all of your energetic resources to be present at this moment, because it will move. It will move mountains. It will move the energy, stagnant energy that we're working with right now. But it is imperative that we let go of the resentment of things just aren't what I thought they were going to be. We have to let go of that resentment. That resentment isn't generative. It isn't generative. We can't do anything with that energy. We cannot do anything with that energy. And so really focus yourself on restabilizing, adapt yourself to the cards that you've been dealt. What are you going to do now? What can you MacGyver with the cards that you've been dealt, with what you have, with the tools that you have, with the world that you have, with the life that you have? What can you do to still come forward and show up in your life in the ways that your life is asking you to? Major, 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 major. Let's pull our last card, coming from the Infinite Wisdom of the Chakras deck, excuse me. One of my newer decks, and so beautiful. And let's see what the guidance is. Final piece of guidance for the end of November, beginning of December 2024. Okay, our final card is offering us animal medicine. And I am going to read from the deck. It is the Owl, Wisdom. Use all your senses to perceive the wisdom and information you are seeking. So this is coming off the heels of me just talking about how can you use the resources that you have to show up. And this card is talking about using all your senses, using the resources that you have, and offering us owl medicine. Owl medicine. Gorgeous. Let's read from the booklet and see what owl medicine is offering us. The great horned owl has long been a symbol of insight, the unseen, and wisdom. Owls are nocturnal creatures with the magnificent ability to see a great distance. Their sensing through vision hints at the additional sense of clairvoyance. This intuitive skill is the ability to see with the third eye what is undetectable otherwise. The owl is a symbol of the feminine energies of the moon and the gift of prophecy. The goddess Athena traveled with Owl as her companion to be her eyes and to impart the wisdom that she needed to access to. Not only can Owl see with extraordinary precision, its hearing is also highly refined. This wisdom keeper thus assists in delivering insights and information that might otherwise be unseen or unheard. So this is really calling on us. I think all these other cards were very human. This one's calling on our spiritual gifts, which we are all spiritually gifted. We were all gifted with the power of intuition. We were all gifted with the power of intuition and our ability to intuit energetically. Okay, let me keep reading from the deck. The wisdom of Owl is here for you. As one who has chosen Owl, begin to sense what you see and hear that is beyond the known. You are already attuned to this wisdom through your intuition. This is a direct call to begin to work more purposefully with intuitive development. Here go the sirens. This may be through reading a book on intuitive perception, taking a class, or finding a teacher. Intuition is a muscle that needs to be developed. If your intuition is already expanding, teach what you know to others. When you teach others, you'll be refining your own abilities and offering it as a service for greater good. You may also be called to work more closely with intuitive meditation practices like shamanic journeying and guided visualization. Choose a path that is naturally unfolding and walk down it. The wisdom will flow from your inner space and higher self. Become like Owl on this journey, not only seeing, but sensing all energies and vibrations as a valuable messaging. So this offered us a lot of guidance right now. One, again, exercising your intuitive power, exercising your intuition, okay? Looking beyond our eyes, or being able to see beyond our eyes right now is very important for the perspective that we hold, and being able to see that things are blessings in disguise. We won't know or see that things are blessings in disguise through our brain. Our brain can only perceive facts, right? And feelings. Intuition is more than feeling. Intuition is being able to see the unseen and feel the unfelt, feel what's not there, right? But it is there. And so also allowing our intuition to guide us, because it's also one of our keys. It's one of our keys to going through and allowing this crumbling to happen. Is also there's a contrast between the wisdom of the owl and our inner child. To me, those are polar opposites. It's like the very human inner child, the wounds that were sustained through our mind, body, and spirit in our upbringing, versus the wisdom that we naturally have, the wisdom that we were innately born with, the wisdom that we incarnated with. And so what do we want to lean on? Our wounded inner child or our natural intuition? You have a choice this month. And so try to remember that. Our inner child is insurmountably important, but again, they need a role. They can't hold this role. This role has to be your guiding force in life. Your inner child sort of keeps you safe and reminds you of your needs. So you need to be working in tandem. Okay? These are like feminine and masculine energies. This is yin and yang, okay? Working in tandem for this to happen, for things to crumble the way that they have to crumble, and for you to go forward into greener pastures, to let go of what you need to let go of, so that you can welcome the abundance that is truly yours, and also the abundance that is ours, the freedom that we deserve as a people, that we are worthy of as a people, the peace, the care that we are worthy of as individuals and as a people. And knowing that it's going to happen in weird ways. It's happening in weird fucking ways, but knowing that this is all a blessing in disguise. This is all a blessing in disguise. We have to hold that perspective in our hearts right now. Knowing that this is all a blessing in disguise. Heaven is a state of mind. That may be helpful for you to hear right now. Heaven is a state of mind. I think that we are living through hell, and so we have to do what we can to uphold the energy of heaven for us individually and collectively. And so I want to say thank you for watching this. I want to say thank you for partaking in community, partaking in actions and activities that promote peace, that promote love, that promote freedom, true freedom and liberation. I want to say thank you to everybody in every profession, from the educators to the artists to the DJs that keep the music playing, to the community servers and helpers, to literally everybody plays a part. Everybody plays a part in this revolution, and the revolution is now. It is happening right now. It's happening right now, and it's only going to be blasted open by these cosmic movements. And so pay attention to November 19th, the energetic shifts that you feel in your body. I think that we're going to need a lot more grounding that day. And so I have many resources on this channel that you can use, from breathwork resources to meditative resources, to help you in your grounding. And I really, really wish you intense focus and the ability to open up your mind and be adaptable to the tools and the resources that were being offered. I really wish you clear perspective this month, for the rest of this month into December, whenever I do December's energy reading, which will be early, I promise. I really wish you open perspective. I really wish you love. I really wish you love and open perspective, so that you can perceive the mirrors, so that your lessons can be mirrored back to you, and you can be like, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, that's why I'm here. I need to deal with this thing now. Otherwise, it's going to keep coming back around into my life. Oh, I have to let go of this perception or this connection, either mental or physical. Otherwise, it's going to keep causing harm, either to me or to the world. It's toxic, so I need to let it go. Whatever it is for you, I wish you a clear perspective about it. And I send you big, 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 big love. I'm here in the comments if you want to chat about how this energy is coming up for you, how you are feeling, and even if you want to put a prayer request into the comments, I will pray for you. Love you. See you next month.